Yo, what's up, my brothers and sisters in Christ? It's your boy Koi. I just finished work and I'm now walking Bailey once again in this same location that I went yesterday. It is such a wonderful park, man. I think I'll keep going here for the foreseeable future because it's great. There's an off-leash area that I can let Bailey run free. That's how it's meant to be. Dogs are meant to be running around. The wild animal that got genetically modified to suit us. I think there's a bit of that wild side inside every single dog, every single cat still. So it's great that she's out and about, and it's great that I'm out and about. I want to talk about something. I want to talk about several things actually. I'm friends with this girl who used to play drums in our band. She has a lot of issues, let's put it that way. And I befriended her, not exactly because she's a good person to be around with. I just feel compelled. I feel like I am obligated to befriend with these people. Befriend Ryan, befriend this girl. I'm not going to say her name because she probably wouldn't appreciate it, but yeah. I'm not saying I'm holier than thou, I'm greater than these people, I'm better than them or anything. I just feel love, deep compassion for these people. They don't have a lot of friends. And I am sort of like that sometimes, but I've come to terms with it now. Why am I talking about her? I'm talking about her because she's the one who posts a lot of stuff on her personal Facebook account, her Instagram account. And every single post, it's a sad post. It's a sad post saying about how people have betrayed her, how no one is checking up on her, how she's alone, how everyone has backstabbed her, those sort of statuses. You know those people. You know those people who always be posting sad stuff online, saying, just look at the kind of things I've done for all of my friends. Now, no one's checking up on me. No one is asking me how I'm doing. Those sorts of memes. And I do feel sorry for her because I used to be like her. I used to lament over the fact that nobody is hitting me up. Nobody is asking me how my day is going. Nobody cares, man. So I know how you feel, but I just want to say this. You have never actually reached out to me or to any of your friends. That's the most important thing. You're meant to be reaching out to people. And I know it's humiliating. Sometimes you reach out to people and they do not reciprocate. They don't reply to you, whatever, but you have to reach out. Because I now live by this rule that if you don't reach out to people, no one's going to reach out to you. And that's a rule I live by. I don't expect much from people anymore. All of my interactions, I initiated all of my interactions. And this is the mindset that you should adopt as well. Just for once, just assume that nobody cares and that you have to start every single interaction. It makes life so much easier. You don't have to worry about, oh, why aren't they reaching out? Because by default, people are not reaching out. You have to be the one who initiates all conversation. It just simplifies your life, man. Just assume that nobody, and I mean nobody will reach out to you. So you have to start every single interaction. See how easy it is? If you want to start an interaction, start it. If you don't have to. The other thing I want to talk about as well is that today I worked in the rehab ward. When people think of rehab, they think of easy nursing, easy work. You just sit down, you let patients do all the work. Sorry, my video cut out. But anyways, as I was saying, when people think about rehab, they think about easy work because what do the healthcare workers do for patients in rehab? They do nothing. They sit back, they let patients do as much as possible. That's the whole point of rehab. You're there to get better, you're there to get more independence at home. After a surgery, after a procedure. Bailey, get up here. Bailey, come up. Bailey. Man, this girl. Bailey. Sorry, Bailey was being a naughty girl again. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the whole point of rehab. You're there to get better, you're there to be more independent. But sometimes, I don't know exactly about the politics of hospital management or whatever, sometimes they send patients down to rehab, but they are not actually rehab patients. They're just there so that they don't get bed blocks on other wards. In other words, patients are discharged from certain areas because that area needed a bed space for another more appropriate patient. For example, in the emergency department, they just send random patients to rehab because they don't have any beds in emergency. So yeah, sometimes patients are not rehab patients, they're not rehabable, they just get sicker and sicker, and sometimes some of them do end up getting really, really sick and even die in our ward. So I think that's why our culture has become the way that it is now, and I think we need it. Sometimes when you get a break, when you catch a moment to sit down, everybody, doesn't matter if you're a doctor, nurse, hospital aide, cleaner, we all sit down, we all have a chit chat, we all talk about shits, and it's much needed. Today, one of the intern doctors, he's about to finish his rotation on this area soon. He just sat down and talked to one of the senior nurses on the ward, and they basically just started complaining, but in a good way, in a therapeutic way. And I think it's very beneficial that you get to vent, you get to use dark humor, you get to use these really, how do I say it, really morbid ideas to debrief, to de-stress. I mean, their kind of humor is much darker than me. They talk about stabbing patients and sending a patient back to surgical because I don't know, that's just their way of coping with stress. And doctors, I don't know how they do it. These interns, the medical interns, they basically work for nothing. They get paid less than nurses starting out, but the trajectory is that they're going to make a bunch of money once they made it. But until that time, they're just a little cog in the machine, just like us. If you think that way, you're going to get really depressed. Think about going to work 7 days in a row, always working overtime, not getting anything done, go home feeling stressed the fuck out. And then after 7 days, you get a few days break, but you spend the majority of your time recovering, and then what's next? You're going back to work again. If that doesn't make you depressed, I don't know what will. So yeah, he was telling us about his issues, about how when he was in other areas, the doctors, the bosses, they don't really care about the patients. They just want to deal with their own specialty. So in surgical, they just want to deal with surgical stuff. They don't want to deal with the holistic image. If patients have other issues that are not in their specialty, they don't give a fuck. They just discharge them from their units. They send them to the different units, send them to a different team, just for that team to manage their conditions. They don't care about their conditions. They just want to deal with their specialty. That's what they're trained for. They don't care. It might feel like that, but it's actually not like that at all. And I do think that a lot of young doctors, the ones starting out, they do have a lot of hearts, and they do provide holistic care to patients. But it seems as though the situation is very bleak. The medical professions, they don't really care about patients. But I do have hope. And I think dark humor is a great way to cope with this, because you are recognizing that this is an issue and you are the one who can make a change. So it's good that you are making these sort of morbid jokes about how medical patients, I'm gonna stab my patient to send them back to surgical so that they can have a better look at this patient. I'm sure they're not gonna do it. It's just a joke, man. And likewise, I want to link this to the community that I am in, the Black Pill community, the Manosphere community. Sometimes I get it. Life is tough. Your wife cheated on you, your wife broke up with you, your wife took the kids, your wife took all your assets. It's traumatizing, man. It's painful. A girl dumped you for no reason at all. The girl changed her mind for absolutely no reason at all. She just felt like it. She just felt like cheating. She just felt like going for a different guy. Even though you guys have made this promise that you guys are going to be together. Whatever the reason might be. Whatever the reason. I get it now why some people are saying it's over. It's over. Just rope. Just go ER. Just burn down this building. Just go out, shoot all these people. It's morbid. It's very dark humor. It's very nihilistic. It's very, I don't know, very fatalistic. It's a terrible mindset to have. But sometimes it can be a good thing. Sometimes you need these sort of communities. You need people to be making jokes about this. Make it less serious. I mean, I make jokes about suicides myself. I'm never gonna do it. I just know that I will never commit suicide. I make jokes about inhaling nitrogen to pass out, a painless death when things get tough. I'm not gonna do it, man. I know I won't do it, but it's just a good coping mechanism. And sometimes you need people who understands you that way. Of course, I'm not gonna kill myself. Of course, my life is gonna get better. But sometimes it just feels like, man, what am I gonna do? I have nothing going on for me. I'll never get married. I will never have children. Nobody will love me. Stuff like that. But I know it will. But sometimes it can feel like it won't. So you might be calling this coping, and it is coping. You need to be coping to survive, to get better, and to move forward in a meaningful way. So coping is good. When is coping not good? When coping is not good is when you make excuses and you never try to get better. That's when it's bad. But when it feels like it's hopeless, but yet you coped and you moved on, continue to live, that's when it's good. I know this video is getting very long. I hope I'm making sense. If not, I'm sorry. As always, stay strong. God bless. Do everything with love and serve God with all your heart and all your soul. I love you. I have complete faith in all of you. Until next time, peace.